Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today is my second video going over all the stuff you need to know to hire a developer and optimizing hiring on Upwork and other freelancing services. In today's example, I'm going to be using Upwork because that's what I'm most familiar with, but feel free to follow along. It's definitely similar on Fiverr. It's similar steps. Alright, so step one is to create an Upwork account. This is super self-explanatory. You just go to this link. I'll put it in the description. When you get to this page, you just want to click I'm a client hiring for a project and you hit join as client. Alright, once you make your account and get signed in, this is the screen that you should be shown. What we want to do is hit post a new job. Alright, this is how we're going to post our job and get it out to freelancers that are the best in their niche. Right now, I'm building my mobile app Lifted, which I'll talk more about at the end of the video, but this is the exact step-by-step framework I used to hire my developer to develop my app. Okay, when we get to this screen, Upwork has their own AI built into it. It's good for what we need, but something that's way better is ChatGPT. What you can do is go to ChatGPT and type in a prompt. For this example, I'm going to be doing a job posting about making a mobile app design for me. This is what I would type into ChatGPT. I am in the market for hiring a mobile app developer. I need a job posting for Upwork, which is the platform we're using, that will drive the best developers in my niche. This is super important because this way ChatGPT will optimize what it's saying to you to get you the best developers in your niche. Then what you want to do is, assuming you have an idea, my mobile app idea is a calorie tracking app where you take a picture and AI will spit out how many calories that food item has. Okay, we'll submit that and then we'll go over something else you can ask ChatGPT. Okay, look, it just gave me this script that I can paste into Upwork and get the highest and most credible developers on the platform. I can copy all of this, I can paste it into Upwork's AI. Mine says it's 1,331 words over. What I can do is I can go into ChatGPT and I need it to be shorter. There is a 5,000 character limit. And then it'll just give you a shorter, high impact version. I just paste that into here. Then after we finish this step and we use ChatGPT to build the perfect job listing for our app idea, we hit go. Then Upwork itself will draft our post and it'll also build out the whole post for us. All right, look, with that, this is all that it spit out. It gives me all this, it gives me all these, it did the entire summary, it did all the deliverables for me. And then what we want to do is we want to select the best thing for our niche. When I hired my developer for Lifted, I hit a one-time project, duration, you can change this based off how big your project is. The idea that I just created would take about 1 to 3 months. Hours per week, you can say I'm not sure, that's what I chose, but most of the time we hope the developer would be working more than 30 hours a week. That way it can be the best design possible and they're spending a lot of quality time on your project. The job size, small, medium, large, again, I would leave it on the large. This is a pretty big project. Small would be something like you're adding bug fixes to an app, for example. Freelancers needed. This varies depending on how large your app is. I think 1 is a really solid number right here. And then down here, this is optional. There's other preferences like project deadlines or hiring timeline. Project deadline would be like, okay, I need to get this out by Christmas, and that's what you can set it as. Then you hit next, and this is a whole new section, freelancer requirements. All right, so the job, you have to select the category, which is web, mobile app, and software development, specialty, mobile app development. And it filled all this out for me. The experience level should always be expert. That way you're getting the best quality work you can possibly get. You can also select other preferences, which are also optional, like screening questions, where they're from, what language they speak, stuff like that, right? All right, next is budget. This is arguably one of the most important parts. For my app Lifted, I did a fixed price. I put $200 for Lifted, and the developer I went with told me it'd be around $900. That way we can both agree on a budget. Another option you can choose is not ready to set a budget. This is not super necessary, especially if you already have the idea out there, right? This is another thing, it's just ready to publish. Do you want it to be public, including search engines? So this would be public to everybody that searches up your job posting, or sharing, and you can add coworkers to work with you. let's say I had a co-founder and I wanted to add them to this. That's what I would do. So we'll put 200 in this budget at a fixed price. You can also do hourly rate, but I wouldn't really recommend that because they can definitely go over the time limit and mark stuff. That's not true. And it's hard to monitor. So now you're done. You've set everything up. Now you need to choose the right option for you. This is a paywall. So you can get your job posting. It maximizes reach and quality talent. And you can invite up to 70 freelancers. What I did for Lifted was just a standard job. I got proposals and I also could invite up to 30 freelancers. That's perfectly okay. So what I do is I post a standard for completely free. And now my post is live. All right, now we've done step 1. We've done step 2, which is defining our job requirements. We used ChatGPT to define our job description, which was step 3. Now we have to set up screening criteria. So what we'll do for this is we go to invites, okay? We need to click filters. This is very, very important. What we want is 90% job success and up. If there was an option, we would do 100%. Talent badge, we want both of these two. Hourly rate, we can leave that. And amount earned, we need at least 1K earned. That's the best talent, and that means you can make sure that they are serious about this. They're not just earning $1, getting off the app and not caring about it, right? English, any level is normally good because they need to speak English. And when you interview them, that's how you can get a feeling of how good they are at English. Hours billed, I keep it at any hours. And talent type, freelancers and agencies. The difference between that is one person versus a team of people. For my app Lifted, there was one representative and there was an agency behind it. So I got the best talent from a bunch of different people because I hired an agency. Okay, now we've narrowed it down to the best applicants. What we can do is we scroll through here. We see that this dude charges $45 an hour with 98% job success and $50,000 earned. Pretty crazy, right? Then what we can do is scroll down and find more applicable people. For example, if my budget is way lower than $45 an hour, I can go to this dude, Mohammed. He has $24 an hour with 100% success rate and $30,000 earned. Let's say I really like Mohammed. What I can do is I hit invite to job. This message I would personalize a bit more. It's very generic and he probably gets a lot of invites with the exact same thing. And then you just hit send invitation when you're finished writing this. I would recommend using ChatGPT to write up a personalized message to him to schedule a meeting, and then you guys can talk. Then what you can do is spend around 10 minutes scrolling through and finding the best people for your job. For example, Daniel, $49 an hour, super expensive. He has a 96% job success, which is good, but guess what? $100,000 earned on this platform. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, look, it's been 10 minutes and I used a free job posting and I already got somebody reaching out. He has a 100% success rate, 24 jobs completed. He has 1,367 total hours and $80,000 earned. This is a great applicant. If you get somebody like this, you should definitely reach out to them. I can go in ahead and shortlist him, click on his profile, and then what I can do is I can look at all the things that he's done. He said, "Hello, I see your project needs development of mobile app for iOS and Android that uses the uses of AI to identify food from images and estimates calorie intake. I'm excited to offer you our 10 years of experience in the software development." Then what they do is they send over some of their apps that they've worked on. So let's look at it. This is the first app he worked on, Vivu, your wellness platform. What I can do is I can go through the App Store profile and I can see all the stuff that it looks like. So this is the design. It looks great, right? So then we can look at some of his other things. This one also looks great. And then last one looks awesome, right? We can see that it's gone pretty viral, 236 ratings with a 3.9 stars, which isn't that great, but we can see that it has attracted downloads. He said, looking forward to discussing this opportunity further. Obviously, this is for demonstration purposes, so I'm not going to reach out to him, but this would be a great applicant and definitely somebody you can put on your list to interview in the future. We can also look at his reviews down here. We can see that he's a full stack developer needed for blockchain certification system, and somebody hired him for $3,000 fixed price. They rated him 5 stars despite the difficulties found within the project. They went above and beyond, making sure that the product was developed and produced for the right quality. We can also see he got another 5 star, another 5 star, another 5 star, another 5 star, another 5 star. He's full of 5 stars. He is full 100% job success, which means 5 stars on every single project that he's worked on. Pretty insane, right? So that's just showing you the power of Upwork. And that's how we can set up screening criteria. The next thing we need to focus on is conducting interviews. So to do this, what we can do is we can hit message. We enter our message just to send him the first message. And we're like, hey, I love your profile. I would love to schedule a meeting so we can talk more about my project. Something that you can use is ChatGPT to write that. Okay? You don't have to, but you know, it might write it better than me. So that's how you conduct an interview. What I do with my developer is I send him a Google Calendar invite. He schedules a time, and then we just have the meeting then through Upwork. And in the video call, what I would recommend doing is I would make a Word document. And I would add what you're going to go over. Okay, so price. You can go over price, what his favorite projects are. We need to make it personalized, right? You can go over the use of AI. You can go over the use of AI in the apps that he's developed. Stuff like that, right? It's generic stuff, but you're kind of getting a feel of what his backstory is and what his motives are to do the best work possible for you. All right, so we finished step 5, and now we need to negotiate terms. This is something that I would super duper recommend. When I interviewed for my app Lifted, I got probably 8 people to sign up for the job. I got 8 developers to reach out, right? What I did was I narrowed it down to price, because price for me was super important. I don't have a lot of capital. What I did was I found the most affordable ones. Let's say one was $1,200, one was $1,000, and one was $2,500. What I would do is I would say, hey, I got an offer for $1,000. They're promising to do the exact same thing. Would you mind lowering the price to $1,000? For example, the $1,200 dude might be inclined to go down to $1,000 because they want your job. On the other hand, $2,500, that's a serious uptrend compared to these two, which are more in the $1,000 range. What we can do is when the developer says it's $2,500, we can ask, why is it so expensive compared to the others? What's the benefit of paying for that much? And what they'll probably tell you is, oh yeah, we do the best work. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Look at our reviews, look at everything. But that's what these dudes will say too. Okay? So, overall, what you need to do is look for talent, pick a budget and stick to it, and align interest and passion. When I was doing research for developers in my niche for Lifted, I looked at what other apps he had in the health and fitness niche. I saw his work, I was happy with it, and that's why I decided to move forward. Okay, so while you're interviewing them, you want to be taking notes. Okay, developer 1, the price was $1,000, and the work was, it was okay. Developer 2 was $1,300, and the work was really good. Nothing crazy, but it was really good. And developer 3, he's done stuff in my niche. It's $1,200, which is in between these other two. And the work was fantastic. It blew me out of the water. Was the craziest stuff I've ever seen. I want to download the app already, and it's not even built yet. That's what you want to be looking for, basically, right? So this is how I structured my interview documents, right? I did the price. I also typed out questions that I would want to ask them, and yeah, that's how I formatted it. The other thing you want to ask in interviews is the project milestone. What my app Lifted was a 3-step milestone. Step 1 being the design in Figma. Step 2 being the front end and back end. And step 3, posting it on the App Store and on the Google Play Store for me and optimizing that completely. That's all stuff you can talk about in the interview. All right, now we're finished with project milestones and we can move on to the onboarding the developer successfully, step 7. This is the last step until you have the best developer you can possibly find. Okay, so my tips and tricks are providing clear instructions. For example, telling them exactly what you need. You need to be very, very clear on what you need because any hazy area is where they're going to mess up and you're not going to be happy with the final result. The next thing you want to do is establish communication channels. We need to figure out what the time zone difference is. That was a big thing. My developer lives in Pakistan. He's, I think, 8 hours ahead of me or something, 5 hours maybe. And so that's definitely something we need to work around, right? He's not available at 8:30 at night for me because it's 3 o'clock in the morning for him. So establishing strong communication channels is very important. Messaging when you guys are both awake, schedule meetings on the time zone you're in, EST, which is for me, stuff like that. That's definitely important. The next thing is set expectations. You need to hold him accountable and he needs to hold you accountable. Hiring somebody is not something you should take lightly. This is a responsibility that you have, that you paid for, and you need to be getting the best results on your end, and he needs to want to work with you so he doesn't throw some stuff under the rug without you knowing. So setting expectations is the best way to handle that. What I would do is schedule meetings every week, expectations of quality work, expectations of time, how long it's going to take them, expectations of deadlines, expectations of like communicating properly if there's issues, and then a feedback mechanism. That's the last step. What you can do is in an interview, you promise them, hey, if you get this done for me, I will give you the best review you've had yet. A strong feedback mechanism doesn't just support you, it supports them too, right? First of all, when you make new projects, people can see what other projects you have worked on. So it's your digital footprint. Seeing that you leave positive reviews, that you're thorough with your review, it's definitely something that developers are going to want from a client. And also vice versa. They benefit from your positive review, you benefit from their positive review. This is the 7-step proven framework I use for my app Lifted that's due to launch in the next couple of months. If you or anybody you know is struggling with mental health, feel free to check the first link in the description to sign up early for my app. We are doing an early sign up promotion right now where the winner of the raffle and the person who referred the winner of the raffle get free for life premium forever. That's over $120 per year for completely free for life. I'm never putting on a promotion like this again. So go ahead, check the link in the description if you're interested, and thank you guys so much for watching.